Hi, I'm Brett Larkin. Welcome to 18 Days of Yoga for Your Body and Soul that I'm hosting with Yoga Outlet. Today, we're going to open the hips in a very deep way by exploring the pose Double Pigeon. We've been working on hip opening overall throughout these challenge videos, but now we're going to take it a layer deeper by coming into this very intense hip stretch pose. To come into Double Pigeon, a lot of you are going to want to sit up on either a bolster or a blanket or a Zafu or Zabuton. And how the pose works is that you want to have your shins stacked. So we're going to start with the left ankle over the right knee, so your shins are stacked like so. So you're going to want to sit on something. If you notice that when you do this pose, your low back is really rounded, that's where sitting up on something is going to be great and really help you. Now, if you're someone who just getting the ankle over the knee in this double pigeon configuration is just not possible for you at all, that's okay. I just want you to come into cross legs. So you'll just have the left ankle in front of the right ankle instead of the left ankle over the right knee. So come into whatever position you can. And I'm not going to use the bolster, but sitting up on it would be a great idea. And then what you want to look for is, the positioning here is important. We want the left ankle to really be overhanging the right knee. So a lot of times I see students with the foot kind of back here, which isn't as intense of a stretch. So you really want the ankle to be overhanging the knee. And it's pretty common that there might be some space between the left knee and the right ankle. Whether you're sitting up on something or have your sitting bones on the floor, just feel the sits bones ground down. You're just going to take a moment with the hands on either side of the body and breathe in. So we're channeling that long spine, breathe out. Let the shoulders melt down the back. One more time like that. 3 count inhale. Fill the belly, fill the chest. 3 count exhale. Good. So for a lot of you, just sitting here may be very intense. And if you're really struggling to keep the spine long, you can always back yourself up against a wall and use the wall to sort of support you and help you stay here. If you've been doing yoga for a long time, you're going to inhale and then exhale, gently fold forward. You can take the hands out in front of you. And I like to press my hands into the floor in order to press down and back through my hips. And just find your breath. So this is an intense pose, and if you have blocks as part of your home practice, I really like to set my forehead on a block in this position. And if your forehead doesn't come down that far, if you have a second block, you can always place the second block underneath the first block. Or you can use other props like cushions and whatnot to just sort of have everything be at the right level for you. Just watch your breath flow in and out of the body. And just remember to cultivate patience here. And if you've come too far and the hip opening is just really intense and almost painful at this point, you want to back off. It means you've just gone a little too far. So we definitely want sensation in both of the hips, but we don't want pain. We want something we can breathe with and sit with. Just send the breath back into the hips. And this is where I'm going to invite you to become a little creative, and where this gets a little more extreme is I want to invite you to walk your hands now over to the right. And if you're just in simple cross legs, that's fine too. So walk the hands over to the right and just see how that affects the stretch on the right hip. And of course, if you're using a block or something to rest your head on, which I really recommend if you have the props at home, to rest your head, your third eye, the space between your eyebrows into something. think it really helps you let go in the hips. Somehow having pressure in the forehead area allows something to release a little deeper in the hip space. At least that's my personal experience. Tune into the breath here. And send your breath into your low back, to the right hip. And you might want to really play here and even take this stretch farther and deeper, especially if you've been doing yoga for some time. Maybe take this into a full-on twist in which you're really pressing down into the right hand, getting tall, and twisting yourself deeper to the left. 3 more breaths wherever you are. And again, you can add gentle movement. So a lot of what extreme hip opening is about is knowing, how to get creative with your body. So I'm kind of swaying right now forward and back. Good, and last variation, I'm going to invite you to take the left hand down to the ground so you can lean your whole forearm on the ground if that's interesting to you, or just left hand on the ground, and we're going to reach the right arm up and over. So now this is a side body stretch and a very interesting deep stretch on the right side of the hip. And if that's too deep, you can just be up on the hand. See where you want to be. Spiral chest to ceiling, open right hip over left. Last 3 breaths. Good, and then don't come up, come back down. So we're coming back through center the way we came in. Take 2 deep breaths here. And make sure that top left foot is actively flexed. Good, and then press yourself up. Whew. All right, we're gonna shake out the legs. So option 1, you can just kind of shake out the legs and maybe come into a butterfly pose to just sort of see how the right hip feels different from the left hip. So maybe make some circles. Level 2, 3, if you're craving it, and I know I am, you can take the legs wide and just take a little bit of a stretch here just to open the inner thighs and the hamstrings. This is always a nice kind of counter pose to take after being crossed up in the double pigeon. Just feels really open and nice. Wherever you are, press your thigh bones into the floor, tall spine, maybe lean forward. And again, you don't need to be in this wide-legged variation. You can just have soles of feet touching, and you can be doing anything else that feels good. And last 3 breaths before we transition over to side number 2. Really interesting to notice how the right side feels different from the left. I notice a very big difference in my body after doing the double pigeon. Okay, so let's set up for the second side. So left shin on the floor, right shin on top with the right ankle now overhanging the left knee. So this is option 1. Definitely sit up on something if your low back is rounding. Okay if there's some space between the ankle and the knee. If it's like a huge space and this is just not feasible for you, right? Reminder to just take cross legs. All the same benefits. It's just a gentler, little bit milder version of the stretch. So you'd have the right ankle in front of the left knee. So wherever you are, first check to make sure that that right ankle is really overhanging the knee, that you're not cheating and it's like back here. Really make sure it's overhanging the knee. Take your hands on either side of the body to connect with the breath. Breathe in, get tall. Exhale all the way, maybe close the eyes. Good, inhale, get tall. Feel the shoulders melt down the back as you exhale. Good, final breath. Inflating the chest, slowing down. Exhale, shoulders glide down and back. Good, breathe in. And of course, you can stay right where you are. You can lean up against a wall to sort of just support you if just being here is really intense stretch. Otherwise, you're folding forward. You're using your hands on the floor. And what I like about that is it allows me to press my hands into the floor and send energy down and back into my hips. So see if you can connect with that, just pressing the wood away or pressing your floor in your house away and just grounding into your sits bones and your hips a little deeper. And then again, great pose for props, block under the head or propping the block up on something so it can be underneath the head, and really release any expectation that the two sides of the body should be the same or would be the same. And remember, you can always take your blocks on alternate heights. This is the big joy of props, right? You can really customize them to fit the exact situation you're in. Begin to cultivate a sense of patience with the body here. I want you to think of your right hip and left hip like little glaciers or icicles that were slowly melting. So, there's a lot of stages to something that's ice liquefying, right? First it softens, then maybe it cracks, then slowly it dissolves. So have that kind of patience with your hips. Don't expect everything to just right away be melting immediately. Hear your breath. And just call yourself up to be a witness to whatever the stretch is bringing up for you. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw and tongue. Good, and then we'll walk the hands over to the right this time. So walk the hands over to the right. Maybe see how that affects the hip stretch on the left side. And then level 2, 3, if you want to really take this into a deeper twist, pressing down into the left palm, getting long. I'm actually pressing into the fingertips as opposed to having the palm flat so I can find more length. And then exhale, twist. Twist towards the right hand. You can walk the hands back and bow forward. There's no right and wrong. Just kind of lean the torso and walk the hands, trying to find configurations that feel really delicious, like the left hip is opening in a profound way. 2 more breaths. Good, and then press the right hand or forearm into the floor and reach the left arm up and over. Side body stretch and hip stretch. Make sure to plug the left shoulder blade down the back. So notice if the shoulder's hiking up towards the ear, glide that down and back. And then see if you want to be up on the fingertips or down on the forearm. Deep breaths wherever you are. Final breath. Good, and now resist the urge to come up. Come back forward so you can come out how we came in. Just get that little extra bit of opening. Maybe move the torso from side to side. And slowly press yourself up. Second time now, just shake out the legs. Maybe come into that butterfly shape. And just notice how both hips feel now. Option to just sit upright here or fold forward. Good, and then we'll just take a very brief meditation. So come to sit up on something. Just a moment here, really, just a minute to integrate your practice. Take the backs of the hands to the knees, palms face up, and then draw the backs of the hands towards your groin. So the hands aren't resting on the knees, but they're closer to the tops of your thighs. And that will really allow you to relax your shoulders down and back. I want you to just visualize light and the sensation of melting as your hips ground down into whatever you're sitting on. Feel the crown of your head line up above the hips, line up above your sits bones, and the chin is parallel to the floor. Just be the witness to your breath. And feel the anatomy of the breath moving in and out of the body. We'll just take 90 seconds of silence here before you go about the rest of your day. Slowly bring your palms to prayer at heart center. Press the palms together. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release completely out the mouth. Good. Inhale, breathe in. Open the mouth, let go. Last time. Inhale, deep breath in. Exhale, let it go out the mouth. Let the hands drop, gently open your eyes. Thank you so, so much for practicing with me. I hope your hips feel a little more open. Let me know in the comments below how this went for you. Remember, you can get details on props and products and everything I'm using in these videos in the description below if you're curious. Huge gratitude to Yoga Outlet for making this video possible, and please remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It is the #1 way that you can help me and support free yoga online. So much hip opening love from my heart to yours. Namaste.